Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss on the chapter pointers. So let's try understanding what is a pointer. Pointer is a variable that holds the address of another variable. Now where are we going to use these pointers, and let's see what are its advantages. Now one of the advantage of using these pointers is we can write very efficient programs. Memory is being utilized properly for this. We can allocate the memory dynamically, and we also can deallocate the memory. We can easily deal with the hardware components. It's because we are using an address in pointers, so for us it's become easy to deal with the hardware components. We also use pointers when we have large data structures, and also if I want to specify some relationship between linked lists or graphs or trees, we go for pointers. Let's see how to write the syntax of pointer. Here we have a data type, and this is a name of a variable. Now whenever we write asterisk, that is star, in front of variable name, that becomes a pointer. For example, it could be integer pointer, character, float, double. So this is how we write. We write a variable name, in front of that we write asterisk, and this is your data type. Now if I want to initialize the pointer, how do I do that? Let's say again pointer variable, which is equals to ampersand normal variable. For example, if I take num as one variable which is of type integer, and ptr is nothing but pointer. When I say star, it becomes a pointer. So what I'm trying to do in pointer, in ptr I'm trying to store the address of num. So when I say and, you're trying to use address and you're storing it in ptr. Now let's try understanding what's difference between a normal variable and a pointer variable. Now in normal variable, variables are declared to store the values, whereas in pointers, variables are declared to store the memory address of variables. The size of the variable in normal variable depends upon which data type we are using in a program, but when comparing to pointer variable, irrespective of data type, whether it is integer or character or float or double, you are allocating 2 bytes of memory only for pointers. But when it is case of normal variable, it depends upon what data type we are using. So if it is integer, we are allocating 2 bytes. If it is character, we are allocating 1 byte. If it is float, we are allocating 4 bytes. So that's depending upon data type, we are allocating memory for normal variable. For pointers, irrespective of data types, we are allocating 2 bytes of memory. Now in variable name, we are using for values to assign some values for normal variable. Now for asterisk is used with the variable. Now for example, if I say cout variable name, this is how we display the values of normal variable. But if I want to display the value of pointer variable, then I use asterisk in front of that. For example, cout variable name and star. So that's the difference between normal variable and pointer. Normal are used to store the values, pointers are used to store the addresses. Now let's find the difference between ampersand and star. Now what is the difference between ampersand and a star? Ampersand is a unary operator that returns the memory address of an operand, whereas the star, which is also called as pointer operator, or it is called as indirection operator, it is nothing but a complement of an AND. Now this unary operator returns the value of the variable. Let's take an example to understand what is the difference between star and an AND. When I say x equals to 25 and I say int star p is equals to ampersand of x. So in star p I'm going to store the address of 25. So that's why star p is nothing but a pointer. Now let's have a look at this diagram. We have three columns with name, value and address. Since I've declared int x and int star p, I'll take name as p and x. The value of p would be 0003 and these are the addresses. The value of x is also 25. The value of p is also 25 after dereferencing the value of x. Now when we write this cout statement, if I want to display the content of p, the content of p is nothing but 0003, its value of p. Now if I print the star p, the star p is what? Pointing to x 0003, so it's pointing to x, so star p means it's nothing but 25. Now if I try putting some arithmetic operations for the value of x, let's say x equal to x plus 5, so we have x as 25, so it's 25 plus 5 becomes 30. Now the content of x is replaced with 25 by 30. When I say x equals to star p plus 5, so here star p, the value of star p is nothing but what? Again, when the value 0003 is pointing to this, it's trying to give you the value of x only. The x here is what? 30, not 25, because it's been overridden. So 30 plus 5 becomes 35. Now your 30 value is been replaced with 35. In the next expression, star p equal to star p plus 5. So star p is nothing but what? The recent value, which is 35. So again 35 plus 5, now it's 40. So the earlier value was x, it's been overridden by 30. In second statement it is overridden by 35. In last statement it is overridden by 40. Now if I want to find the address of star p, if I display cout and I say ampersand, I get the address of this star p. So the address of star p is what? Is nothing but 0003. Now let's see the program to implement normal and pointer values with address. Now when we write this program, we are trying to differentiate between the variables, that is of normal variable and pointer variable. Now let's say that I've created a program with pointer and integer value n. Let's say that the value of n is 10. So in ptr I'm trying to store the address of n. Now I'm trying to display this without using pointers. Like what would be the value of n without using pointers, and what would be the address of n without using pointers. Now if I display the value of n, it will display the content of n, that is 10. If I display the address of n, the address of n is what? It's ampersand n. Ampersand n is, this is the address of n. So when I display this, I get the address as n is equals to 0x8f8e_f4. Now what if I want to display these things without using, with using pointers? So let's say its value of n is equals to star ptr. So here if you look at this, the value of n is also same, and if I say star ptr, which is holding the address of n, when you say star, it takes again the value of n, which is nothing but 10. So when I say value of n, if you look at this output, I get value of n as 10. If I want to display address of n, I just type ptr. Ptr is nothing but what? It's an address. So again I get the same address, whatever I had printed here, same address. Now if I want to print what is the address of PTR, I'll just type it as ampersand of PTR. So you either write it as address of n or address of PTR, but the displaying the content is in terms of PTR and ampersand PTR. So when I write PTR, you are getting the same address, and when I say ampersand PTR, again you are getting the same address. So difference is when I say address of n, when you just display PTR, you are displaying the address. When you say ampersand PTR, again you are displaying the address. Now if I want to display the content of PTR is nothing but star PTR. So star PTR means the value present in this address. So in this address, what is the value present? That's nothing but 10. So again I get content of PTR as 10. Now let's see what is relationship between an array and pointers. I've written a small program of the difference between or what, let us say, relationship between array and pointers. Let's take a small example. I've taken an array of size 5 and I have initialized some values, random values. Let us take it as 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So when I say arrays, I'll take it as a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3, a of 4. That means all is 5. So what is that? We have 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Now if I display the value of num of 4, when I say num of 4, you are printing the content present in a of 4, and that's nothing but 50. Now if I display the same thing in a different format, let's say I want to print num plus 4. So when I say num plus 4, what is num here? Num is nothing but an array of size 5. So num plus 4, that means num starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you are giving the address of num plus 4. But I don't want an address. I want to print the content present in this a of 4. So when I want to print content, what I do is I place a star in front of it. So when I say star, instead of getting an address of num plus 4, I get the value. That's nothing but 50 again. And I use return 0 because I'm using an integer for the main program. Now remember one thing, when you compile a program, the compiler does not store all the addresses of these elements. It only stores the name of an array, that is num, and it holds only starting address, not all the addresses. Now let's see what you mean by an array of pointers. Like we have other data types, array of integers, array of characters or array of float, we also have an array of pointers. Array of pointers are nothing but the pointers which are defined in terms of groups. That is called as an array of pointers. How do we write this array of pointers? The syntax is data type, name of an array, and its size in brackets. We also have to type this star. This indicates it's an array of pointer. To have a look at a small example, I'll say int star IPTR of size 5. So here I'm declaring a pointer integer size 5. So inside this I'm holding the values of I, j, k, l, m, that is total 5, which have values 0, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, let's say star PTR 0 because this is an array. So 0 holds value 10, 1 holds 20, 2 holds 30, 3 holds 40 and 4 holds 50. So this is nothing but what? An example of array of pointers which is holding the values. That's why I typed here star with array subscripts starting with 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Now let's have a look at this program where I want to display the values using array of pointers. How do we write that? Let's take the array of size 10 and declare some variables. Now when you compile this program, it will ask me to enter how many elements you want to enter. Let's say my n value here is 5. Then I require a for loop. Why do I require for loop? It's because I need to store the content of all the values in terms of for loop, that is in terms of arrays. Now I'm using array here because a plus I. A is what? A is nothing but an array, and I is the values, that is subscript with 0, 1, 2, 3. This for loop will execute 5 times, and that because I've taken the value of n as 5. Now this part is for accepting the values. The same thing I'm going to display it. Now to display, again I require a for loop. So I take a for loop here and I display the content, whatever content is present in this array, I'm going to display it. Now this is not only an array, but it is an array of pointers because I'm using star in front of it. So this is nothing but an array of pointers example. So when I execute, my n value is 5. So it will ask me to enter any array elements. So I will type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any random numbers. So whatever content is stored in this, the same thing I'm going to display it using cout statement. Now let's check what do you mean by pointer arithmetic. Let's take a small example to understand what is pointer arithmetic. Let's take an example of pointers. Before starting with pointers, let's initialize the values of integer ABC as 10, 20 and 30. Now these are normal variables and these are pointer of type integer. So there are 3 pointers and 3 normal variables. So in this pointer 1, 2 and 3, I'm storing the address of A, B and C. Now if you look at this table, these are the valid expressions. It's because I'm trying to take the values of A, B and C, I'm going to add it. Similarly, I'm trying to find difference, product, quotient and remainder. Now these are all expressions valid. Let's look at the second column. Now here also I'm trying to perform the sum, difference, product, quotient and remainder. But the thing is, I'm trying to add the pointer values, that is star ptr1, star ptr2, star ptr3. So here ptr1, ptr2, ptr3 is nothing but holding the address of A, B and C. So when I say star, star means it's nothing but the content present in this A. So content again here is nothing but what? It's 10, 20 and 30. So it's as good as saying the same statement which I had in this first column. So it's nothing but A plus B plus C, or we can write it the same thing in other way as ptr1 plus ptr2 plus ptr3 with star prefixed for the pointers. Now this column are almost similar, only the difference is the way of writing, because we are taking the values of PTR. Values of PTR are nothing but what? The values of ABC. Now let's look at third column. In third column, we are trying to add PTRs, that is PTR1 plus PTR2. And if you look at this, all expressions, these are all invalid. Why are these expressions invalid? It's because we are trying to add 2 pointers, or subtract, or multiply, or divide, or find its remainder. Now this is not possible with pointer arithmetic. It's because these are holding the addresses. This ptr1, 2 are holding the addresses of A, B and C. So we can add the values, but we cannot add the addresses of A, B and C, and that's why these expressions are invalid. The other reason why we don't use this is because the addresses are unassigned integers. The unassigned integers are not compatible for any kind of calculations. The unsigned integer holds the large positive values ranging from 0 to 65, 535, and by default the integer is signed integer, and that's why the integer can hold both your positive and negative values. Now let's see how to implement the pointers using strings. Let us try understanding what is a string. String is nothing but a sequence of characters which ends with a null character. Let's take an example. I declare a character with an array size 5, and when I say s of 5, inside s of 5 I'm going to initialize the string as HELLO. So if you look at this diagram, your values are stored in terms of s of 0, s of 1, s of 2, 3, 4 and 5. If you look at the last value, it is assigned as null. So when I say null, that means your entire string gets over when I come across this null value. Now let's see with this example. Now if I declare this pointer, that is character star sptr, it is string pointer, I'm going to assign the values present of s in sptr. sptr is nothing but a pointer and s is nothing but an array. So when I display cout star sptr is nothing but content of the initial value s of 0. The content of s of 0 is nothing but h. So here it's going to display the first character, that's h. So if I now increment the sptr with sptr plus plus, now the pointer, it start pointing to the next position, that is s of 1. Now in next statement I'm going to display what is the value of sptr. So for me it's going to display the next position, that's e. So it's going to display e. So what if I'm going to again increment the value of sptr? So instead of pointing here, now the pointer will point to s of 2. So if I can display the content of sptr, so it's going to display the L value. Similarly, like this, all the contents will be displayed from your entire string.